I'm in a game. I'm in a game. Hello, I'm in the video with my daddy.
What's going on, everybody, today? So today we are going to be talking to Rick Zink. Um, really cool guy. I think he's been building for a long time too, but we're going to get to know him a little bit better today. And here's Rick.
Hey,
What's going on,
everybody.
Rick?
How's it going?
It's going. And I wanted to say thank you for letting me move this to Sunday. It was a funeral that I had to go to yesterday,
Yeah.
so I'm
Sorry to
glad
hear
you were able
that.
to make it still work.
Yep.
So my first question is, what you had a YouTube? You've been on YouTube for quite a while. Did you have a different name when you first started out?
No,
It's always been the
it's
Rick
same all
Zink
along. I started in 2014.
2014. Okay,
Yeah.
because I would have swore, and maybe I have when I first got into this, I had got you confused with someone else, but like you were doing like hot rods at first, right?
No, not particularly. I do some, but I build a lot of cars from the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
Oh,
That's
okay.
but I do some, like I'll do a 30s or 40s hot rod too. Gassers I think are cool. I love gassers. So I've done some of them too.
So you've been on YouTube since 2014. How have you liked the community so far? Because
Oh
it's a really unique group of people.
oh yeah. Um, Pretty much like a family, man. Really, because some of them I considered great friends and even brothers. I mean, it's been amazing. It really has. And everybody supports each other. It's just a beautiful thing. It really is. And going to get to see them pretty soon.
Yeah, we'll
Getting
get into
together at the
that.
show.
We'll get into that in a little bit. But
Yeah.
so you mostly like to build 67. What's your favorite car out of that era?
Oh, that's a tough one. you know. Um, well, I tend to be lean more towards Mopars. So a lot of Dodges and Plymouths. I like like Road Runners and Cudas and Dodge Challengers. But I also I like you look here, man. There's a lot of stuff back here, and I kind of got my stash set up, by automotive brand. Like I got a shelf for Dodges and Plymouths, and I got a shelf for like Fords, and kind of got them set up by year even. It's more of a thing of fit them where I can at this point. But I got a Mercury section, a Mustang section, Buicks, Oldsmobiles. I got them kind of sorted out. Of course, this room's getting a little overstuffed, and really don't have a whole lot more I could fit in here.
Yeah, right. I don't get me wrong. It's cool that you have this stash, right? It's really really cool. But where I'm at, I don't, because of the fluctuation in temperatures throughout the year. I try not to have more than, I know for me, like 35 kits.
Right.
Enough to keep me going, but and I'm not ruining kits.
Right. Well,
How do
I'm
you
in a
deal with
climate controlled environment here. I'm in the smallest bedroom in the house.
Oh, okay.
You're out in the garage, so you're going to have those temperature fluctuations. I really don't have to worry about that.
So my next question was going to be how are you liking the 3D printed scene when it comes to the model stuff?
I think it's great. I myself am not going to get into it. You know, if I need something, I'll phone a friend or something, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's cool. I mean, the details that can be done with those are simply amazing. It's really a hobby changer. It really is.
And you know, I like the fact that whatever you think in your head is now a little bit more possible. Like you don't have
Oh
like
yeah,
unless you're like the other Josh from Extreme,
yeah.
he's on a different level with scratch building. He can pretty
Oh
much
yeah, oh yeah.
scratch
His
build
imagination is in overdrive for sure.
right?
I love some
But
of the stuff he does, and I'm going to get to see it this weekend coming too. So that's cool.
But like if you're not good at scratch building, you can actually, and you got to be good at printing though, but or
Yeah,
get someone to print it out for you. But you can
yeah.
actually have the part you want in your hand now.
Oh yeah, yep. Whatever you could conjure up and get it in the program, you can do it, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, all that stuff is just. I mean, Miguel is. We're going to talk about that with Miguel next week or the week after. After
Yeah.
Acme, the weekend after Acme is going to be Miguel's week for the 3D printed conversation.
Oh, cool.
But no, I was just kind of curious how you thought about it because
Oh, I think
you
it's
know,
great, man. Absolutely great. Like I said, it's a hobby changer. It really has taken off, and you can do some amazing things with it. You know, I don't think it'll ever replace kits. I don't believe that. I don't think
now
that'll happen.
why do you think that?
No, I don't think it will happen. Some people have tossed that around that all this 3D printing is going to be like, you go to Revell's website and download the kit. I don't think it's going to come to that.
See, not now, right? Because right
No,
now we're still in a phase in the 3D printing world. But I say in 10 years,
you think?
I think that's going to be more of a possibility. I really do. I don't know if it'll happen, but I think that's going to be a big possibility because now on some of these sites you can download the 89 Batmobile and print it out on your printer.
Okay.
So, like I said, we're we're ways away from, probably the manufacturers and stuff doing that, but I think that's a reality. Not now, but in 10 years, I really believe that.
I guess it's possible. We'll see
You
what
know,
happens. I'm not going to run
right?
out of kits anytime soon, though.
Well, yeah, that wall back there, yeah, you could
Yeah.
go for what, another 25 years,
Yeah, something like that.
right?
At least.
So, what part of the country are you in?
I'm in the state of Georgia, very southern part of Georgia. I could be in Tallahassee, Florida in about an hour.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I'm way down and kind of to the western part of the state too, south and west.
And what's the hobby scene like where you're at? Because the next question is we're going to talk about Acme after that. But
Right. Okay. Well,
question.
yeah, that's as far as shows go. The two closest shows to me is Jack's Con in Jacksonville, Florida, and the Acme Show in Smyrna, Georgia, which is just north of Atlanta. It takes me about 2.5 hours to get to Jacksonville, and it takes me about 3.5 hours to get up to Smyrna. So they're the two closest shows to me. I think there's also a show, an IPMS show that's held in Warner Robins, Georgia, but I've never been to it.
That's cool. I I know a little bit about JaxCon. JaxCon's getting kind of bigger from the impression I get all the way across the other side, across the country. JaxCon's getting a little bit more popular, right?
Yes, well, as far as the YouTube scene, yeah, there's more YouTube content creators going to JaxCon than there was in the past. It mostly at first was just the Florida guys that were going to it, but yeah, it has become a little more popular to other people, and they're showing up there. Like myself from Georgia, Fred Henry usually attends. Matt from Model Car Videos, he's in southeastern part of the state. He usually attends, and yeah, a lot of Florida guys still.
And what's mostly there? Is it mostly cars, or is it a little bit of everything?
It's an IPMS show, so it's pretty balanced. But there is a good bunch of cars, and even the vending tables seem to have quite a good balance too between military and like figures and model cars and trucks now. In fact, it seems to be the model cars and trucks vending seems to be growing there too.
No, that's awesome. It's really, really cool to see. And some of the stuff you see on the tables
Oh my God.
blows me away.
Absolutely. And I mean, you can take video of it all day long, but to see it with your own eyeballs is a whole different thing. It really is.
Oh, absolutely.
Makes your eyeballs pop out, the top of your head blow off. Some amazing stuff some of these people can do. It amazes me. I'll never get to that level. I know that.
Now, why do you say that? Because I've seen a couple of your builds. You're a good builder.
Well, I always look at it like this, Josh, and this pertains to about any walk of life, anything you do, is that there's two different things that contribute to whatever you're doing, and one is skills.
Okay.
Skills you can work on, you practice them, you'll get better. The other is talent. Talent is God given, and you got what you got. Okay. Even if you don't practice something for a while, that talent doesn't fade. Skills will. You got to keep practicing to keep your skills up. A lot of guys that like maybe a lot of guys play a guitar, and you could be playing along, and you practice this one song for a long time, and you get pretty dang good at it, and then you put your guitar down for 6 months, go back and try to play that song, you're going to be kind of rusty at it, where everybody's not going to be Eddie Van Halen,
Right. And that guy rolls out of bed playing the guitar without any practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
So
and that makes sense.
Some of these builders are tremendously talented, and my talent is I got what I got. That's not going to get any better.
Okay, now that makes sense. No, that's awesome. I see where you're coming with that. So now let's flip the script. Now let's talk about Acme, because Acme is going to be what, next weekend, right?
Yep, coming up.
Now, I'll use Fred's quote. It's the Super Bowl for the YouTube community. May not be the biggest show in the U.S.,
right?
But for the YouTube community, it's the biggest show.
Yeah, and I feel that it's where all the YouTubers tend to gather, at least in the model car community, and don't know how it got that way, but it did. Just I guess folks on YouTube see other people going to that show, and other YouTube content creators, and they want to go to it, and before you knew it, it was the meeting place for YouTube builders. And it's a great time every year. We have a blast there, man. Always have a lot of fun.
And it's the one show, and it's on. I'm assuming the East Coast, right? It's pretty close to the East Coast.
Yeah.
That every part of the U.S. there's someone that goes to it. Like it's the one show other than Nationals. Nationals is the big show. But this is the other show where, like, I know about 10 people from Oregon that go down there.
There you go.
You know, it's like,
Yep. A lot of them coming from out west attend the show. It's a long trip for them. A lot of them fly, you know.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't drive. Hell,
But,
no.
Yeah.
That would definitely. I'd have to go see Fred at work. Kind of, you know.
Yep.
No, I mean it's really cool. And here's an idea, and I'll throw it at you.
Yeah.
But there's enough YouTube creators there. Instead of like scanning all the models, you know, when you videotape them, just get each one of you guys to get a table and just highlight all the builds on that table. You know, because then you can see something.
Yeah, that would take quite a bit of coordination, man. But you know, I kind of like the way people are doing it, because you always get you look at the other guys' videos, and you know, you get a different perspective, a different angle. You know, some guys do slideshows, some guys just do video of it. You know, so you get a whole bunch of different stuff anyway. But yeah, I usually do mine in small segments so that uploading the video doesn't take all that long when I do show coverage. I'm not the best videographer, but you know, people watch them. So they like watching them show videos. That's for sure.
It's kind of cool that you can still be part of the show, but I mean, you got to be a week late because most people don't upload for at least a week, but you still get to kind of participate a little bit. You know, because I know it's hard for me to get, you know, down there.
Right.
You know, but it's okay. You might know the answer to this. Do you see the question on the screen?
Let's see. Wasn't there a YouTube group build for Acme one year? Yeah, during COVID. That was 2020, I believe.
Oh yeah, because they didn't have the show that year, right?
It was an online build, yeah. There's also that thing going on that's hosted by Mark Batson and Lucas C.
Okay.
That they have what they call content creators group build, where it's actually like a big buddy build because they all build the same model.
Oh, that's right.
This year they're doing a 70 Roadrunner or GTX. Last year they did a 40 Ford, any version of the AMT 40 Ford. And you know that, but that's not only for YouTube, it's for anybody that's a content creator on I guess any forum. I believe there was a lot of guys in it from Facebook groups.
Yeah, I've been seeing a bunch of stuff on Facebook actually for that. It's phenomenal builds too. It's definitely yeah. And yeah, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Chevy Cheeseburger had a table. I believe that's how I found out about Acme at first, was because of him.
Okay.
But
I don't know if he did. That's possible. I don't remember that.
No, it's cool. I like all the stuff. And the one guy that I try to follow from when he goes, and I don't know if he's going this year, but Pablo makes some phenomenal stuff down there.
Yes, he does. He's an amazing builder. And yeah, he usually does go. He hasn't been posting a whole lot on YouTube in a while, but
or on Facebook. So that's why I wasn't sure if he was going this year.
But yeah, I don't know if he's going either. I last year he was there last year, and he hadn't been posting for a while either.
Oh, Fred knew the answer to that, so that's cool. No, it's yeah. Pablo, then there's usually whatever Fred builds.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple other guys that I try to follow that I know go down there, but it's like I would love to know how they actually judge some of this stuff, because it's gotta be top of the line.
This is an
everywhere.
NIL, so there is no judging. When you enter the show, or actually even if you're just attending, when you purchase your ticket, you get a ballot sheet. So
okay.
it's the crowd that picks the winners by voting on them. You don't have actual judges like you would at an IPMS show.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's cool.
That's how it works. Yep.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
So now before we get off the Acme topic, how are the I've heard they're the Friday night dinner and the Saturday night lunch?
Well,
it's
after the show.
Those interactions.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, some even show up as early as Thursday at the host hotel. And the host hotel has a hospitality room. Where in the hospitality room, a lot of people show up Friday. Some show up Thursday. A lot of people show up on Friday. And on Friday evening, the Acme Club sets up in there, and you go and do your registration for the show at the hotel there in the hospitality room. So everybody's gathered and everybody's, talking and hanging out and having a good old time. Then on Saturday evening after the show, there's usually a pretty big group of us go out together, get something to eat, some restaurant, and then go back to the hotel, to the hospitality room again, and hang out sometimes into the wee hours of the morning. So it's a good time, man. It really is a good time.
I've seen the picture of the Friday one. I don't usually get to see the pictures of the one later in the weekend, but it's the who's who of the YouTube community usually is at that table. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could call it that, who's who. I don't know, but yeah, it's a bunch of YouTube guys hanging out together, having a good old time.
So, what is some of the coolest hobby tools that you have?
I don't know about coolest. I got the normal stuff everybody has. Got knives and tweezers, and just like everybody else has. I don't have nothing really special. Got a Dremel. Few airbrushes. I don't have a lot of them like some people do. I got like 3.
What 3 do you have? Because I've seen some of your pit jobs. You do.
I have an El Cheapo one from Harbor Freight. It cost me like $20. Made by Central Pneumatic. That little airbrush works pretty good. But then I also have Posh or Pache, however you pronounce it. I have a Model H, and I also, which is a single action brush, and then I have a VL, which is double action.
I have both of those. Those are.
They're
I
nice
love the Posh.
And a lot of people swear by the Badger 350 as being a workhorse, which I never owned one, but that model has been around a long, long time, going way back. A lot of people love their Iwatas. But
I will put a Posh Ace against anything. May not do good detail work, but for base coats and stuff, it'll spray damn near anything.
Yeah. Good airbrush.
So, talking about airbrushes,
Yeah.
You're a big respirator guy, right?
Oh, I got one. Yes.
Because
Yep.
I know it's part of my. I was just curious, which one do you usually use, or did you pick up the ones from Harbor Freight?
I got one from Harbor Freight. It's not the best in the world, but you know, it's decent. It works pretty well. Can't really smell anything through it, you know. Hopefully it's trapping enough particles.
Right. Well, and I also have the airbrush station.
Right, right.
That so
Yeah. Well, I got a
bit.
spray booth in here. I don't have a pacemaker. What's yeah, is that what it's called? Pace.
That one's a Maker Mark model,
Yeah, that's what I have from Micro Mark. It's yeah, what's it called? Mark something.
Yeah,
I got they have like 3 sizes. I have the middle size one.
Yeah,
It
I
works
have.
pretty good. It's a downdraft type.
Mm-hmm. That one. I had we were getting rid of these. I call them air conditioned ducts that have the peg holes through them.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
metal, so there's nothing. You basically just roll the fabric or whatever on it, and then I set that on top of it, so I can actually set stuff on top of it. It's
because it can be kind of soft if you're just using the filters. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I've had more stuff fall over. I took advantage of a demolition thing at work.
Okay.
It's crazy how sometimes work can be really, really profitable for the
Yeah.
hobby, right?
Well, that's true in a lot of cases, like the ladies' makeup section at the dollar store. You know, you can find all kind of stuff for doing model things over there.
Just the dollar store in general for hobby products.
Yeah, you get a lot of stuff there.
Because I mean, sometimes I get the isopropyl. It's not the 90 proof, but the 70 proof will work good for the airbrush cleaner.
Mm.
It works, and then you just add to it the Gilbert Mondragon Jesus juice. Love that stuff, right?
Yep. And Fred Henry took that and he modified it a little more, made it his own.
Yeah, no,
he's got a little video on how to do that too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a bottle of my windshield washer cleaner right here, right now.
You got to add that stuff to it, man. Especially the winter drives version, because it's a little bit stronger.
Yeah, it's got a lot of alcohol in it.
I get weird looks when I walk down the makeup aisle. I'm sure, Fred.
Yeah, you get to the checkout counter, they kind of look at you funny, you know.
Yeah, right. No, I just think it's cool how the dollar store can be so beneficial to the hobby. I love that stuff.
Yeah, you can find all kind of stuff in there. That's true.
Yeah. So what paints are you using?
Let's see. Shoot, I got all kind of stuff. I'll tell you what I haven't used yet is that Model Car World paints. And a lot of people are loving that. But I do have, a lot of Tamiya paint, a lot of testers and Model Master. I have some splash paints, which are airbrush ready. Createx I have some Wicked Colors. I have some House of Color. Yeah, I got a pretty good bunch of stuff, as far as paints go. A lot of it is enamel or lacquer, though.
So you have a little bit of the enamels and acrylics, huh?
Enamels, lacquers, acrylics. Yep.
So what's the big difference between enamels and acrylics? Coming to the car scene.
Well, it's the thinner, which really the difference. You're using basically alcohol to thin the acrylics, and You know, you use like mineral spirits or lacquer thinner for the others. And, you know, it's a little more toxic, I guess. You know?
But is the quality actually with the enamels
Oh, yeah.
better, or is it the acrylics?
Well, I kind of, you know, I've been in the hobby a long time. I kind of been used to using, you know, the testers enamels, and then they came out with lacquers later on. So I kind of been used to using those all along. And, you know, you can get good quality paint out of that, but you can with the acrylics too. I mean, they produce some beautiful paint jobs with that. And there's, you know, many guys that, like we was talking about with the dollar store, use nail polish to paint models with. They got to thin the snot out of it, but you know, and that's basically a lacquer base.
That's true.
Put some lacquer thinner in it. You got to really thin it down because you know nail polish is fairly thick. But you can squirt that through your airbrush. A lot of people have done some beautiful paint jobs with them.
Yeah, see, for me, I can only do acrylic because enamels would get up into the house, and that
Yeah,
would just
yeah,
not do my son and wife any good, having asthma and all the
yeah.
lung issues that he has when he was born. I
Okay.
just I just can't do it.
Yeah. Stay away from
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so tools. Oh, were you gonna show any of the builds that you do?
No, what I was gonna bring up with you is that as part of this hobby, I've always been interested in the history of the hobby.
Okay.
And you know, over the years, you know, even when I was young, I had a subscription to a couple of hobby magazines, and I've got a lot of them. I've kept a lot of them. And over the years, I've like sent away for catalogs from the manufacturers, and um, I've been saving a whole bunch of them. So I have a lot of old stuff related to the hobby, and you know, even books that other people have written about the hobby and the different companies and how they started up and what they've done over the years. So, and I show that on videos that I have on my channel that are named something old. I've got probably like 40 of them on there now. Each one of them shows an old magazine or an old catalog, an old book. And I've got a few of them here. Here's something that was gifted to me by all of our friend, Mr. Ron Stewart, who seems to have the time to watch and comment on everybody's videos. But anyway, he sent me this 1964 Auto World catalog.
Oh wow.
It's kind of raggedy and falling apart. The binding of it's all, you know, busted up. But this is in one of my videos, and here's a book that I've had since it's new by Dennis Doty. It's was published in 1981. I've had it since then.
And
He
in
goes
that
over
book, it
all sorts
covers,
of things.
in that book, it really goes into depth about airbrushing, right? Because at that time, it was kind of starting to get into the hobby, right?
I don't remember if he even has a section on airbrushing in here.
That cover looks familiar. It could be a different book.
No, he really don't have anything about airbrushing in here. Yes, called The Complete Book of Model Car Building by Dennis Doty.
Okay.
He also, Dennis, you know, also wrote articles for different magazines, and then he actually, I think he was the editor of Model Car Journal, which I have some of those also. And you know, like I said, I have some of the older magazines. There's Here's an example of a scale auto enthusiast from 1983, I believe this one's from. Yeah, 1983, this one's from. I'm the original owner of these guys, too. Here's a model car science from 1971.
Oh, wow.
Here's an old car model magazine, 1967. I don't know if you remember this one. It was a sister publication to Scale Auto Enthusiast called Car Modeler. It's kind of short-lived. This one's from 93. And then as far as knowing about kits, you want to learn about kits and what kits were available or still available and may even still have be in production or whatever. This here book is a go-to for me all the time. It's by Bill Coulter and Bob Shelton. Great little book to have.
And that book looks thick.
Yeah, it's pretty thick.
Wow.
And this is 1/24th and 1/25th scale, and it's what I guess you were known as the American manufacturers. It really don't cover, like the Asian companies or the European companies. So that's just, some of the stuff I have. This here book tells the history of Aurora model kits. It's by a history professor from Flagler College in St. Augustine, Florida. He also wrote a book about monogram models, and he wrote another one about Revell models. It goes over the whole history of the company and a lot of really interesting things in there. Box art, even different chapter on box art. There's all kind of cool stuff.
How many different magazines have there been?
Tell you the truth, I'm not real sure. Every once in a while, I wind up hearing of one that I never heard of before that was around, I think there was one at one time called Plastic Fanatic, but I never owned one myself. I don't even really remember seeing them, but there was one called Plastic Fanatic. Oh, shoot. Back in the 60s, there were some more. And then some of the 1/1 scale hot rod magazines of the time back in the 60s and 70s would have a column in them dedicated to model cars.
And Fred's says here, whenever I need to know about a vintage kit, I go to Rick.
Well, that's one place he can go. I'll try to help anybody out find something out about a kit. There's also a website called scalemates.com, which has a pretty extensive listing of kits and even timelines of the kit, like when the mold was created and how it may have been modified over the years.
And what photo etch goes with what kits.
Well, I don't know if they cover that, but it might be on there. You might be right about that.
Yeah, one of the guys near me tells me all the time about it. And he's like, one of his computers is just that, totally dedicated to that site. It's crazy.
That site's got some good information now. Yep.
So with that being said, you have a lot of the vintage kits. How are the vintage kits then compared to today?
Well, I mean, a lot of the vintage kits from then are still available today. They, keep reissuing them. But back then, I mean, today the quality of like a new tool they cut today is way better than what it was back then. Just through CAD design and CNC machining. they come up with much higher quality kit today. But still, those molds, as long as they keep them in decent shape, they'll keep pumping out kits. And you get a lot of that through round two. Revell even does it. Revell has older kits that they've been doing since the 50s and the 60s, and they're still putting them out. A lot of kits back then were based on what they call promotional models. And those were very basic. The dealers used them to promote, the cars that they were selling. And it was the big manufacturers, the car manufacturers in Detroit, that were footing the bill for the model kit companies to make these promotional models. So they would run promotional models for them, and then they would start producing kits and sell them with the same molds. They just had an opening hood on it and put an engine in it. So they're very basic, like a chassis got molded on everything, exhaust, drivetrain, everything's molded into it. And pretty simple to put together, real simple interior buckets. But some of them had some pretty good detail in them. A lot of people like the old Johann model kits. They just were really well detailed. They were very simple kits. They were promotional too. Very simple kits. But the detailing on them are pretty dang nice, even by today's standards. So right now we're living in the best of both worlds. Some people say the 60s in this hobby was the golden era. Yeah, they might have made more sales back then because it was the Nintendo of its time. You know what I mean? And you could find them anywhere in a 7-Eleven. Hardware stores sold them, drugstores sold them, supermarkets sold them. They were everywhere. But today the quality of the kits and all of the aftermarket is totally amazing. You didn't have an aftermarket back then, not much of one. Auto World was about the only thing, and they didn't have much.
I was gonna say back in the 80s and 90s when I was a kid, it seemed like you had a different set of wheels you could buy.
Yeah.
And that was about it. Like, right?
Well, yeah, but the resin casting started coming up, and that was it was mostly cottage industry. Guys, doing stuff out of their garage or their basement or whatever. But some of them were really good quality. Some were pretty crappy, but some were really good quality. And, that took off, and that's still going today. Photo etch came out. Photo etch, really, I remember it being in other genres of the hobby at first. Like a lot of the military planes and ships and armor had photo etch kits before they started showing up in the car genre. And then of course now you got the 3D printing, so we got an amazing amount of things that are at our fingertips now, along with the interweb. You get on there, you order whatever you want. You don't have to leave your house. Yeah. And in a way that's hurt your mom and pop hobby shops too, though, which is sad, because back in the day they were all over the place. It's sad to see them go. You could go there, you could see all the products they have, you could hold them in your hand, look at them real good before you made your decision. Now you're looking at a picture on a screen.
No, there's a podcast that actually calls this the golden era of the hobby because of all the aftermarket and all the technology. And I mean, like even the figure stuff, like in the hobby now,
Right.
compared to like in the early 80s and 90s and 70s,
Yeah.
kits are just getting so much better. And it's,
Oh yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Everything is. It just keeps improving, man. The details, like you said, in figures, these 3D printed figures, or even these, the other way they're casted, aren't they? I don't know a whole lot about figures, but you got 3D printed, and the other ones are like resin cast, are they?
no, they're kind of like, some of them can be. Uh, where's one? They're not any different. Like this is a GW figure, but
Uh huh.
like it's really, I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah,
it's
that is cool
it'll probably
looking, man.
completely show up, but
And what material is that made out of?
it's styrene. It's
Oh,
just a different quality of styrene. These are out of the UK, so I don't know the
okay.
actual
Okay.
term. But then you get the 3D printed stuff,
Yeah.
and I blew it up because I have that capability.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Make
You
it
know what I
any
mean?
scale you want, right?
Right. So, let's get Rick back on here. Yeah, I mean it's just crazy where the hobby is kind of going down this rabbit hole,
Yeah.
right? And it
Yeah.
don't matter if you're into cars, planes, tanks, figures,
Mm-mm.
ships. It's all the same direction, just
Yeah.
and that's why I like building so many different things,
Yeah, you do. A lot of guys do that. They bounce around from one genre to another. They love doing it all. And the whole thing is, me particularly, I like the cars and the small trucks and whatnot. But I will watch, videos of guys that build other things just because you can learn the techniques that's going on. Like watching the model railroaders. I mean, what's a model railroad but a giant diorama? You can learn
Exactly.
a lot about that. They do some wonderful weathering on their rolling stock too. You can learn about that. The figure painter guys, you can learn a lot of different paint techniques as far as dry brushing goes and washes and all that cool stuff. There's a lot of things you can learn from looking at other genres. Even if you may not have an interest in it, you can pick up a lot of techniques. So it's you ain't wasting your time looking at something like that.
No, and that's why I kind of try to bounce around a little bit, just because like weathering techniques fall in every category.
Absolutely. Yep.
Like gloss clear coats, they can be
Hmm.
in every category. So
Hmm.
there's things that you can pick up, and
Sure.
it's just crazy.
Yep. There's always somebody doing it a different way, and that's another thing. I feel that there's really not a right way or a wrong way. Um, do you could try out different ways, and whatever one suits you the best, or you get the best results from, do that. That's
Yeah.
just your way of doing it. But if you don't know how to do something, you can watch different guys doing different techniques and getting the result they want. You try it out, you find what you're most comfortable with, and go with that.
No, yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. It's really really cool. So what are some of the YouTube channels you follow the most? Because I
Well,
see you all over the place.
yeah. Well, it's a lot of these guys right over here in your comment section there. A lot of them guys, so it's mainly I do watch model car guys, but there's others that I watch. I like Al Wood from the UK. He does a lot of military stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
I like. That's a good
Mini
channel.
War Mutt, Brian Cox over there. I like watching him. He's doing like little mini figures. I like watching him. Gil Mondragon, Red Dragon Model Works. He's a extremely talented painter, and
No, I agree with that. And
he's
he's
very
getting better too. That's the scary part.
what I didn't hear.
Gil's getting better. That's the scary
Yeah, yeah. But Gil's very willing to share anything with anybody. You got a question, you ask him, he'll get back to you, man. And
Well, and that's
got
like
a lot
now
of knowledge when it comes to painting stuff.
and that's why I like that painting series he's doing. I've been in a couple of them. I haven't been able to do them all lately because Christmas.
I try to watch him. I remember
But-
when you was doing one with him there.
Yeah, it's totally cool. And
Yeah.
Fred says it's the peanut gallery to you.
Oh, okay. They're going to start throwing peanuts or tomatoes. I don't know which.
If I had my choice, I'd take the peanuts because it's smaller target.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's cool. Yeah, and those are all great channels too. That's the cool part about that.
Yeah. Well, that's
and
just
now there's so many channels. It's hard to keep up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's the one thing about the YouTube. It kind of takes away from some of your bench time,
Yeah.
Because you're watching so many, you're commenting on so many, but you think about it, this hobby, like you're sitting in your garage there, and I'm sitting in this room here. It's a solitary thing 90% of the time, and that's what's cool about this whole community. You get to share ideas, you get to hang out and talk and cut up and act like a fool on the live streams like we seem to do it a lot on Saturdays, and we just have a good old time, and then going to the shows is that's even better. You meet up face to face and hang out. It's always a blast, man. So if you can get to any shows, go get to the shows, man.
I wish, like, I would have to seriously travel because there's only probably 3 around me, and then I'd have to like travel up to Washington, like Northern California.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, if you can get to them though, you'll enjoy yourself. You will.
Yeah.
And, looking at bills right up there in front of your face on the table, amazing stuff, and you'll get to meet a few people. You might be surprised. Somebody might live fairly close to you, and you never even knew it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's true because very, very true. So, are you ever going to try a figure since you watch a bunch of it? Because I know I've been trying to get Brian and Fred to do one.
Yeah, I've got like, some of the little kits of figures, like some of them by MB. I have some of those, but I haven't tried them yet. I got some of those, I think they were done by Tamiya, the little mechanic figures and stuff.
Yeah.
I have some of those. So yeah, I want to try it. I haven't yet, but yeah, that's something I'd like to try.
No, that's cool. And that's some good kits too. Some of them are good kits. Some of them you got to work with, but
yeah.
Well, we've hit about that hour mark.
All
Did
right.
you have any questions for me?
Well, yeah. I was wondering, with your 3D printing, would you like be thinking about venturing into making a business out of it?
So if I could do it locally, yes. And I have sold a bunch of 3D prints locally.
Oh, okay. All right, that's cool.
But to get like to, and that's my part-time gig, like how I make extra money, right?
Yeah.
But if I was to like quit working and totally do that, I would have to go online.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's a completely different beast. And
yeah.
I don't know if I'm up for that.
Yeah.
But do you remember on you're not on Facebook, so you probably didn't see that. On Instagram, right? You're on Instagram, right?
No. Just YouTube.
So
YouTube takes up enough of my time. I don't want to do any more of them.
So Guardians of the Galaxy has that Groot character, and they had like a little bitty flower pot thing where you could stick a flower pot in the top of his head, and it's probably about that big. It only cost me like $5 or $6 to print out.
One of those. Yeah.
But all I did was charge people $20 for it. I must have sold thousands of them things just locally here because no one's seen it. So I probably paid for my printer 4 or 5 times over.
Cool. That's
like
good.
So
you're supporting your own hobby. That's good.
It definitely helped when I went to go pay for that credit card bill that month.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you do get into it more, I wish you success with it.
And here's some of the negative with 3D printing. It's getting cheap enough. Everybody's kind of doing it now. So it's like, the market's not falling completely out of it if you're good at it. And I'm not necessarily good with the resin stuff. The PLA stuff, I mean, I did the robot and I've done the Wonder Woman, and then there's Superman here. Oh, here's Groot. Here's one of the Groots. I blew this guy up and printed that guy out. And like I would charge, someone wanted this for $35 and all I have to do is paint it.
Yeah.
And that's before I paint it. If I paint it, I'm charging more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sure. Time is worth money, man.
But yeah, 3D printing, it's mostly my, so I don't have to buy so many figures. Now I just print them out. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, that's about it, Josh.
I know earlier today or before we got on, you asked me how many of these I did.
Oh yeah. I forgot.
That was a crazy number when we looked it up, huh?
Yeah. I was surprised. I had no idea you had done that many. It's 64, you said?
Yeah, 64 of these so far. Cool. And so far there'll be another 6 after this.
Yeah. Cool.
So, it's been a process, and I still like the fact that everybody enjoys these.
Oh yeah, I love them. I think they're very interesting. And your next guy is going to be Miguel, right?
No, Miguel is after Acme. Next week.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a figure guy. It's going to be Jerry Freighter.
Oh.
He's on YouTube, and it would be Just Paint It, Go for Painting.
Oh, Go for It Painting. Yes, yeah. Okay. That's it. I didn't know his name.
Well, Go for Painting is a completely different guy. It's Just Paint. And I had to remember which one was which.
All right.
No, and the cool thing about the whole number, it's cool, but my channel has grown over this 2.5 years that I've been doing this so far.
Good.
So it's, it's been a process, but it's been, every so often, like the other day, I just found out I was over 400 subscribers. I didn't even know.
You ain't been keeping track of that either, huh?
Well,
Good for you. I'm glad it's growing for you. That's great.
It's one of those things, I look at it every so often, but I don't like obsess over it. Same thing with like the view counts.
Yeah.
Like
me neither. I don't pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah. I look to see, how that video did, but other than that, that's about it.
Yeah. I just really look through the comments. I try to answer everybody that comments on my videos, just out of courtesy,
Yeah. Well, Brian, I'm not wrong with that, but it is what it is, man. I can't control it. So it's like, I know when I started this, I only had like 125, maybe not even that. And now I'm, so that's why I said it's slowly been growing, which has been awesome.
Well, I hope it keeps growing for you, buddy. I think it will. You keep doing these. People seem to enjoy them. Yeah.
And you've been a really big supporter of these. That's one of the biggest reasons I needed you to come on, because, and you're a big knowledge guy for the hobby too.
Thank you. Nice words. Yeah, I try to support everybody that I can, It's kind of how it all works. Everybody's supporting each other. That's why they call it a community, right?
Right, yeah. And it's really, really nice to see how the community supports one another. Well, there's a couple guys that we don't support, but
let's not go there. You get friends started, man.
There's, but like I said, for the most part, everybody supports one another on this. Yeah. So it's really awesome. But yeah, if you don't have any other questions, we'll talk a little bit after this. Okay.
Yeah.
And I will see you in a couple minutes.
All right, buddy.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Oh. All right, everybody. So that was Rick Zink this week. Yeah, I've been trying to get him to do this for a while now, and we were actually able to make it work. I'm sorry that it was on Sunday this week, but I had a funeral that I had to attend yesterday. And yeah, so I'm really glad everybody's still really supporting the channel and everything. Next week, I know a bunch of the people in the chat right now are going to be at Acme, but there is going to be an interview next week, and it's going to be Jerry. So Jerry's up next, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.